Hello everybody, my name is Kyle. This is my third mock draft, and first couple got good responses, so here comes the next one. Believe I have the first couple rounds finished, but if not, we'll see how far I got. Okay, so with the number 1 overall pick, I have a change. I have Johnny Manziel, quarterback at a Texas A&M, going to the Houston Texans. Johnny Manziel has the most upside out of any quarterback in this draft. He has what I call the number one, I have called the wow factor. But number 1 overall pick, you want someone with a lot of wow factor. Johnny Manziel definitely gives that. Johnny Football, as some call him. When he goes off the run, he scrambles very well. No one's gonna stop him when he scrambles. If he's just he adds a new dynamic to that team in Houston that they're gonna really like. Bridgewater, even though he's the most polished quarterback in this draft, the wow factor just isn't there. In the number 1 overall pick, you want some guy that is gonna be something that's gonna give you an element to his game that no one else can. And Johnny Manziel definitely does that. He's got a big arm and he's got a lot of speed. His accuracy is good, but it needs some work. But he needs more help in the deep balls. But that wow factor's there, and Johnny Football has one of the best arms I've seen in a long time. So, number 1 overall pick, Johnny Manziel to the Houston Texans. Moving on, number 2, I have the St. Louis Rams selecting Greg Robinson, offensive tackle out of Auburn. Greg Robinson, another one of these guys. If you want a top pick, we're looking for a guy with a lot of upsides. Yes, Jake Matthews is a very consistent blocker, but for the time being, what he's going to be playing is going to be right tackle. When he starts the season, most likely, Jake Long will not be back. He will be a left tackle, but he's going to be moved to right tackle, and in that case, he's bigger. He definitely can improve as a pass blocker, but as a run blocker, there's no one better than him in this draft. He's a big guy with a ton of upside and a ton of athleticism. Underrated pass blocker, but a very good pass blocker, but can improve at the next level. Another one of these guys with a huge upside that you will take at the number 2 pick. They're not going to let him slide if they still hold on to this pick. They're not letting Greg Robinson fall down and fall past them because of the upside he has and that explosiveness he gives at a tackle position. And again, a mauler because he's huge. Moving on to number 3 pick. I still have the Jacksonville Jaguars selecting Jadeveon Clowney, defensive end out of South Carolina. Now, the reason I have Jadeveon Clowney go into the Jaguars is because of his athleticism. He has a ton of upside. He has great athleticism, big hitter. You know he's the best pass rusher in this draft class. Everyone talks about him. Have I bought into the whole Jadeveon Clowney to the Texans thing? No, not at all. None whatsoever. I even think it's a stretch for him to go to the Jaguars here, but I see the Jaguars in such a desperate need of a pass rusher that they'll take him here. I can also see Blake Bortles going here, but for the time being, I have Clowney going here. And Clowney has not impressed me that much, to be completely honest with you. All I'm impressed by is his athleticism. He needs to work more on his run defense, and he also needs to work more at working harder. He tells everyone his work ethic is good, but from what I watched on tape, it's not. He needs to know how to get off of double teams, because he's going to get double teamed to the next level. If he doesn't, he's going to succeed, but if he does, he needs to learn how to be stronger at the point of attack. But Jadeveon Clowney, 3rd to Jacksonville Jaguars. Alright. At 4, I have the Cleveland Browns selecting Teddy Bridgewater, quarterback out of Louisville. Again, the Browns, I feel like they might trade up with the Rams to probably either pick Bortles or Bridgewater. I see going here. I think they kind of have to go Bridgewater. The team needs one of these guys that's going to, give them a solid quarterback. They need someone who's going to be consistent. Bridgewater is the most polished quarterback in this draft. He definitely is going to bring them an element where they have someone to consistently pass the football. Great accuracy, great pocket passer. Not going to give you anything too special, but what he gives you is great, and he gives you a top 5 talent. So Teddy Bridgewater, quarterback out of Louisville, to the Cleveland Browns. At the number 5 spot, I have the Oakland Raiders selecting Blake Bortles, quarterback out of Central Florida, because I keep saying coastal. Blake Bortles. Now, when I watched him on tape, I saw a guy with a ton of upside, and the first guy that came to my mind when I thought of Blake Bortles was not Ben Roethlisberger, and it wasn't Joe Flacco. It was Andrew Luck. He's got good athleticism for his size. He's not nearly as polished as Andrew Luck is, and was at coming out of the draft, but he does have the same skill sets as Andrew Luck. He needs to work on his accuracy, especially in a deep ball, but he throws on the run very well, and when he's moving, his accuracy is almost perfect. He needs to learn how to be able to set his feet and throw better than he is now. But a ton of upside with Bortles. I really like him. He's starting to come up my draft board a lot more. Don't be surprised if you see him going to the Jaguars soon. But yeah, Blake Bortles is a guy that gives his team a new identity. The Raiders are bad in a lot of positions, and it's going to start now with the quarterback. The previous draft, I haven't had them taking Bortles, but now I obviously do. If they keep this pick at the 5 spot, they'll take Blake Bortles. They have a lot of needs, and Bortles is one of those guys that if you get him a good receiver, they have a ton of cap space, and there's a lot of good receivers in this draft class. So if you get some talent around Bortles, he's going to help this franchise grow. Giving the Oakland Raiders a new identity, Blake Bortles, quarterback out of Central Florida. At the number 6 spot, I have the Atlanta Falcons selecting Khalil Mack, outside linebacker out of Buffalo. Khalil Mack, one of the most versatile and complete linebackers in this draft class. He is the most complete linebacker in this draft class. Great in coverage and great pass rusher. Great run stopper, and again, just told you, great pass rusher. Atlanta Falcons need someone to rush the passer desperately. Khalil Mack is just too good to pass up at this spot. They could go Jake Matthews here, but I really think that Khalil Mack is too good for them to pass up. He's gonna give them an element in the pass rush that they didn't have last year, and it'll give quarterbacks less time to react and to go through their progressions. Obviously, what a pass rusher does. He also can drop back into coverage very well when they need him to, and he also stops the run very well. Something Atlanta did not do well last season was stop the run and stop the pass. They couldn't do either. Their defense was very bad because they had no pass rush. Khalil Mack, outside linebacker out of Buffalo, gives them that element. With the number 7 pick in the 2014 NFL Draft, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers selecting Anthony Barr, outside linebacker out of UCLA. Anthony Barr has a lot of raw talent. He's a great pass rusher. He definitely needs to work back on his coverage skills and his run-stopping skills. But for right now, he's a great pass rusher. The Buccaneers definitely need an element of a pass rush to their defense. I believe that they do have the talent on that defense to be a top 5 defense. They need to add a pass rusher, and that defense is going to operate a lot better. I also think the coaching change is going to help them a lot more than most expect, because I think Greg Schiano was a huge reason why the Buccaneers did not succeed last year. I have them as one of the most talented teams in the league, but they just didn't perform to that talent, so that means coaching is the problem. Anthony Barr is going to add them an element of explosiveness. That linebacking core is going to be really good now. I think that they're going to he's going to be brushing the passer a lot more than most outside linebackers do, and he might even be a defensive end. I'm not 100% sure on the scheme that they run. I know last year it was not a 3-4, but I see Anthony Barr more as a 3-4 outside linebacker. But I think the scheme may have changed. Someone leave me the correct answer in the comment section below so I know, so I don't sound like an idiot here. But for now I have Anthony Barr out of UCLA, outside linebacker out of UCLA, going to the Buccaneers. With the 8th pick in the draft, I have the Minnesota Vikings selecting Derek Carr, quarterback out of Fresno State. At this spot, Derek Carr is a bit of a stretch, but I see the Minnesota Vikings needing a quarterback so bad that they pick him here. He has a lot of talent, but he's nowhere near as talented as Manziel, Bridgewater, and Bortles. He definitely has a big-time NFL arm. He could throw the ball down the field, which is something no one on the Minnesota Vikings could do last year, with the exception of Josh Freeman, whom they never allowed to get his chance. This is going to add a new dynamic to Minnesota. They're moving to a new stadium. He's going to give this, he's going to be the face of this franchise after, Adrian Peterson. He's going to give this team a new identity, a new threat to throw the ball. I think given the time to develop, Derek Carr is going to be a good starting quarterback in the NFL. He definitely has the talent to do so. He needs to be polished more. He needs to be shown more. But on tape, I saw he did pretty well. Fresno State's offense is a little bit odd, but this is going to be a stretch pick for the Vikings here. But I feel like it's going to work out for them in the long run, just maybe not year one. Okay, at the 9th spot, I have the Buffalo Bills selecting C.J. Mosley, linebacker out of Alabama. C.J. Mosley can play all 3 positions in the linebacking core. He can play middle linebacker, he can play right outside linebacker, and he can play left outside linebacker. Definitely more of a traditional linebacker, like a 4-3 linebacker rather than a 3-4 pass rusher. I think he's going to complement Kiko Alonso very well. Has a ton of talent. I think linebacker is where they go here. If Greg Robinson was not the number 2 pick, Jake Matthews was, and then Robinson fell down to here, they would take Robinson here. But I believe that C.J. Mosley, a very versatile and very athletic guy, goes to the Bills here. He's going to complement Kiko Alonso very well. Give that defense even more of a name there. They do have a lot of talent on that defense, and I think it's a defense that in the future years and maybe even next year can be a sleeper as one of the better defenses in the league. So C.J. Mosley, 9 to the Buffalo Bills here. Okay, rounding off the top 10, I have the Detroit Lions selecting Justin Gilbert, cornerback out of Oklahoma State. Justin Gilbert, the most athletic player in college football. Very versatile, very great in the pass coverage, definitely is a corner that could be shut down at the next level. He's also very athletic, so he can run with slot guys, so he has the ability to move outside and inside, giving this Detroit defense a lot of versatility with Justin Gilbert. Also can help on the punt returns and kick returns. I think he is well above Darqueze Dennard, whatever way you want to say his name. He definitely is way ahead of him because Dennard, with these injury issues, is not. You don't want a guy with a ton of injury issues in their top 10. I know I have Manziel at 1. He was banged up through the season, but those are little minor injuries. Dennard has had injuries that have kept him out for a significant amount of time. Definitely, you want a versatile guy. Another one of these guys I'm saying, wow factor. Wow factor is going to be a main theme in my drafts because I like guys that give me this wow factor where I can, plug him in and be like, I have a ton of upside with him, coach him up, new coach again in Detroit. I think Gilbert's going to really help this team out a lot at the next level. Okay, at the 11th spot, I have the Tennessee Titans selecting HaHa Clinton-Dix, free safety, out of Alabama. Another one of these athletic guys that I like a lot. I say it every time. He can play coverage well and he can hit. It's like a cornerback with a good hit, with a lot of hitting. He's a great zone guy. Obviously, he's not a corner. He's a safety. Clinton Dix is also his great hands. He fits his Tennessee Titans very well here. I can't see Clinton Dix moving out of this spot in any way, shape, or form throughout the draft. I just don't see a way he can go higher, and I also don't see a way he can go lower. Clinton Dix, one of my favorite players in this draft. As you can tell, I kind of like the safeties in this draft class a lot. At least the two, Calvin Pryor and Clinton Dix. Just a good pick here for the Tennessee Titans. A lot of athleticism in Clinton Dix. He's going to make a difference in that Tennessee Titans defense next year. Alright, with the 12th pick, I have the New York Giants getting an absolute steal. I had them taking Jake Matthews, offensive tackle out of Texas A&M. This is going to help out this Giants offensive line tremendously. They're going to get the top-rated pass blocker in this draft class. They will play him at left tackle. They'll allow Justin Pugh to play the right side. I'm sorry, they'll probably have Will Beatty switch to the right side and allow Justin Pugh to go to what I believe is his most comfortable position of guard. That's going to bolster up this offensive line a lot. I really think that this pick is going to impact the Giants a lot more than some people think. It's going to allow this offense to run the way it's meant to run and give Eli Manning a lot more time back there. The game that really showed to me the poorness of the Giants offensive line was the Carolina game, where they got shut out at home, and I watched and I was cheering how Carolina just destroyed their offensive line. They need Jake Matthews to come in there and really help this line out a lot. It's going to improve this line tremendously with this one single pick. Okay, at the 13th spot, I have the St. Louis Rams selecting Sammy Watkins, wide receiver out of Clemson. Definitely an absolute steal here, for sure. Sammy Watkins, the St. Louis Rams have the kind of offense where they can afford to spend a top pick on a wide receiver. They got their offensive tackle in Greg Robinson that they needed in the 2 spot, and now it's time for them to take a wide receiver. Sammy Watkins, without a doubt, has top 5 or even top 10 talent, but he's not going to go in the top 5 or 10 here. The only spot in the top 10 he can possibly go to would be Minnesota, but they don't have a quarterback, so they're going to stretch for a quarterback. But he's not going to go in the top 10 in this draft class because there's so much talent. There's just so much wide receiver talent in this draft class that they can't afford to spend it. The only team in that top 15 range that can is the St. Louis Rams. So, get an absolute steal here. He's explosive. Sammy Watkins definitely has the wow factor. He's a very explosive receiver. Needs to work on his routes running. They are good, but they could be a lot better. He's a great hands catcher. Catches the ball with his hands very well. People compare him to Cordero Patterson. I think that's a fair comparison. Just Sammy Watkins has a more polished game. You can see that in his catches and his route running ability. Definitely needs to improve at route running at the next level, but he could be a great pro, and this is a steal for the St. Louis Rams. And just think of how explosive this pass offense is going to be with Sammy Watkins and Tavon Austin. I like to see that happen. Sam Bradford, you got yourself a steal if they get Greg Robinson and Sammy Watkins here. 2 of the biggest wow factors, guys, in this draft class. Okay, at the 14th spot, I have the Chicago Bears selecting Timmy Jernigan, defensive tackle, Florida State. Timmy Jernigan, huge man. He's very strong. Four berries. He's gonna help this Bears defense out that's pathetic against the run last year. He definitely is a presence in the middle. He can stop the run very well. Can be either a 4-3 defensive tackle or a 3-4. Has that kind of versatility. Definitely is a good pass rusher as well. Underrated at that position. He's very explosive with his use of hands. He's very strong with his use of hands. He can power through double teams and also just use finesse to get past centers and guards to get to the quarterback. Timmy Jernigan, definitely a great value pick at this point. Another one of these guys with wow factor that I like a lot. This is one of the best draft classes in a long time, and it's really exciting to watch, to see guys like Timmy Jernigan able to go with the 14 spot to the Chicago Bears. Definitely going to make a big impact on the Bears defense next year. So here, 14, Timmy Jernigan, defensive tackle, Florida State. Okay, so at the 15th pick, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers selecting Taylor Lewan, offensive tackle, Michigan. Taylor Lewan, one of the most consistent pass blockers in college football. Did not allow a sack this season. Very strong at the point of attack, and an excellent pass blocker. Pittsburgh Steelers need a lot of help in that offensive line. It's pretty much atrocious. They've hit and missed on a lot of tackles. I think at this point, just because you've hit and missed a million times doesn't mean that you have to stop trying, because that's very important in this day. The left tackle position is very important in this day and age of the NFL. They have to keep trying, and I think Taylor Lewan is probably the best shot so far of having a very consistent pass blocker at the next level. I can't see a guy who hasn't given up a single sack this season going into the NFL and doing terrible. I think he's going to be very consistent to the next level, and is really going to help solidify the left tackle position in Pittsburgh. Okay, at the 16th spot, I have the Baltimore Ravens selecting Mike Evans, wide receiver out of Texas A&M. Big receivers have succeeded in Baltimore over the last couple of years. Anquan Bolden, you saw it in Anquan Bolden, and to see that big receiver missing this year, how Joe Flacco struggled. I see them adding Mike Evans as another guy that reminds me a lot of Vincent Jackson. Definitely needs to work on the same things most guys need to work on, like route running and catching the ball with his hands more. But I see Mike Evans with a big guy with a ton of upside that can really help that pass offense in Baltimore. Give Joe Flacco another big target to work with opposite Torrey Smith, and the inside is Jacoby Jones, which I can also see them upgrading the slot position as well, making this pass offense very good at the next level. Next year. So Mike Evans, wide receiver at Texas A&M, 16th spot to the Baltimore Ravens. Okay, before I continue with my next pick, I just wanted to ask if you guys like the new editing that I'm doing. I'm obviously not very good at it. Someone needs to tell me how to cut images in Windows Movie Maker. I only know how to use Sony Vegas, and I don't have it in this computer. So yeah, leave me a comment how you like the new editing thing. If you guys like the pictures, it takes me a lot longer. Normally my mock drafts take as long as the video says to actually make, because I literally just sit there with my draft down and just talk. But with this one, it takes me a little bit longer to do. I'm only going to be doing pictures for the first round. There's no way I'm going to do them for the second round, mainly because I probably won't be able to find them anymore. And once I get to the third round, fourth round, fifth round, sixth round, seventh round drafts, it'll take me 3 days to make a seven round draft with all the pictures in them and not. If you guys really like them that much and I see the views climb by a lot, then I might do it. But for now, no, I will not. Okay, but anyway, just leave your opinions down below on those things, and also leave your opinions on my picks so far, and also subscribe. Helps this videos get around a lot. Okay, anyway, 17th pick, I have the Dallas Cowboys selecting Rashid Hageman, defensive tackle out of Minnesota. I see him going here because he's very versatile on that defensive line. I see them in... Do they still have a 3-4? Someone leave that down below. Do they have a 3-4 or 4-3? Either way, it doesn't matter. He's very versatile. He can move around that... he can move around that defensive line very well. If they're in a 3-4, he's better fit for a defensive end. Not that he's too big to play. Not big enough to play nose tackle, because he is. It's just that he's an explosive pass rusher. What am I saying? He's explosive pass rusher as well as a great run stopper. So he can move from the defensive end to defensive tackle position depending on the scheme. I really like Rashid Hageman a lot. Can't see him going any higher, but I also can't see... I can see him going higher, but I can't see him going any lower than this. Also, sorry if I'm, like, shaking and my voice is a little weird. I'm freezing. So if you notice that, it's not me being nervous or anything, it's just that I'm absolutely freezing right now. So, yeah. 17th pick, Rashid Hageman, defensive tackle out of Minnesota to the Dallas Cowboys. With the 18th pick, I have the New York Jets selecting Eric Ebron, tight end out of North Carolina. Eric Ebron is another one of these tight ends of the new age of the NFL who is a great receiver. He's very athletic. He makes amazing catches. He is an underrated blocker, and he has a lot of athleticism for a tight end. He is a wide receiver in a tight end's body. This Jets offense is horrible. It needs a weapon for Geno Smith to throw to, because they committed a second-round draft pick to Geno Smith. They now are forced to play him. So, with that being said, you need to surround a young quarterback who isn't as polished as others may be, with a lot of talent, and that's something the New York Jets don't do. So at the tight end position, Eric Ebron is the best receiver available at this point, and he's a tight end. And this is going to be the next guy, and guys like Jimmy Graham or Jordan Cameron, Tony Gonzalez, Vernon Davis. He's not as fast as Vernon Davis, but he's in that kind of category. You know what I'm getting at for this now. So Eric Ebron, tight end out of North Carolina to the Jets. So I had to re-record because I had to go. So I'm starting just from here, continuing on, moving along with the next pick. I have the Miami Dolphins selecting Zach Martin, offensive tackle, Notre Dame. I actually have him on my mock draft listed as an offensive lineman, just offensive line, because Zach Martin can play every single position in the offensive line, and that's the reason why I have him going 19 to the Dolphins. He's definitely the most versatile, and the fact that he literally can play anywhere on the line is going to help the Dolphins a lot, because they need help everywhere on the line. So, with that being said, he may play everywhere on the line. So he's probably going to start off as tackle because of how weak the Miami Dolphins are at the tackle position. He'll probably start off as tackle, but down the road could potentially either stay there, become a franchise left tackle, or kick into guard and become a very, very effective guard at the next level. So Zach Martin, offensive tackle, Notre Dame, 19 to the Dolphins. Okay, with the 20th pick, I have the Arizona Cardinals selecting Coney Ealy, defensive end / outside linebacker out of Missouri. I have him going Coney Ealy here instead of a tackle because it seems as if the better bet here is for them to go for the outside linebacker. Rushing the passer can be improved on the Arizona Cardinals front from the outside linebacker position. From the inside, Darnell Dockett, Dan Williams, and Calais Campbell. That's a pretty solid front, but they at the linebacking position, because they're a 3-4 team, they need to get better at rushing the passer. Sam Macho's good, but Alex Okafor was injured all this season. I don't remember who played in front of him, but they definitely need to upgrade that position. Coney Ealy is definitely a guy who can do that. Tremendous athleticism at Missouri. He's very fast and strong at the point of attack. He's also very versatile and very, very, I already said this, he's very athletic. I like athletic guys, and I really like D Ford too, but I don't think that, I think Coney Ealy is better than D Ford. he has just as much as he maybe isn't as fast, but he is just as athletic. I'm sorry that I can't talk right now, but yeah, Coney Ealy, defensive end / outside linebacker out of Missouri, 20 to the Cardinals. Alright, moving on with my next pick. The 21st pick, I have the Green Bay Packers selecting Jason Morrow, tight end out of Texas Tech. Jason Morrow, another one of these guys that's a good pass-catching tight end. He isn't a very good blocker, so that comes to hurt him in his draft stock. He's very athletic, and the Packers need a tight end because that position is surrounded with a lot of uncertainty. They're not sure what they're if they're going to be able to re-sign Andrew Carlos or Jermichael Finley, and there's a lot of questions surrounding Jermichael Finley. Are they going to be able to re-sign him? Is he okay? Can he play? They don't know. So tight end here would be a good thing. Get Aaron Rodgers more weapons. You can also go linebacker here. For now, I have them going Jason Morrow, tight end out of Texas Tech. Okay, with the 22nd pick, I have the Philadelphia Eagles selecting Calvin Pryor, free safety out of Louisville. Calvin Pryor, as you well know by now, is one of my favorite players in this draft class. Reminds me a lot of Deshaun Goldson, but he has better hands. Calvin Pryor can make amazing catches, as you saw in the video I included in this video, as I saw as his highlight. Calvin Pryor has ridiculous hands, but he also can make hits like the one you saw. I wanted to show you how Calvin Pryor can really play the safety position. He is a great safety. What he does need to work on is he needs to work on making sure he makes the tackle before he kills somebody. He just needs to learn how to wrap tackles, because usually he just blasts through people and he makes these big hits. So the hard hitting is a plus and a minus. But yeah, in other words, I really like Calvin Pryor. I think there's a lot of potential with him, and I think this is a good spot. I think he definitely can go higher for sure. The Eagles at 22, they desperately need a safety. They didn't have anything last year, so anybody would help them there. Calvin Pryor is an excellent free safety out of Louisville, so I have him going here to the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, with the 23rd pick in the draft, I have the Kansas City Chiefs selecting Marquise Lee, wide receiver out of USC. Marquise Lee, before the season started, was the number one was the number one wide receiver on everybody's draft board. He has a ton of talent. He had an excellent year not this season, the previous season. People thought he can go number one in the draft, but his stock has fallen down since then by a lot. He still has a ton of talent. He's still an excellent route runner, and you could tell he has a ton of experience by the way he uses his hands. Even though he still can use them even more effectively, just the little nuances of his game, you could tell this is an experienced player who's been playing for a long time. Marquise Lee still has a ton of talent, just as much talent as he had coming into this season. It's just that the injury problems have hindered his draft stock. Teams don't want to spend a top 10 pick on a guy that's been hurt a lot. He is a bit of a wild card at this point, but you're getting a guy with a ton of talent, and really anybody can, improve that past offense of the Kansas City Chiefs opposite Dwayne Bowe. They need a wide receiver opposite Dwayne Bowe. They've been looking for one for a while, and I think that's what's going to take this team from that, very good team to an elite team, because this is a team with very few needs and very deep at a lot of positions, but wide receiver is not one of them, and Marquise Lee is going to help add depth and give them a great option opposite Dwayne Bowe. You got the speedster on one side and you got the big guy on the other side. It's a great combo, so there's a great contrast between wide receivers' strengths, and it's going to make teams have to adjust to the way they're going to defend these two guys. So Marquise Lee, 23, Kansas City Chiefs. Alright, moving on to the 24th pick, I have the Cincinnati Bengals selecting Darqueze Dennard, cornerback, Michigan State. I have Dennard going to the Bengals because frankly, they need another cornerback. They have Pac-Man Jones and Dre Kirkpatrick, and then now they need to add another one. Some say Jason Verrett will go here, but most people who say Jason Verrett will go here have Denard going in the top 10 and Justin Gilbert going to the Eagles, like I've had in the past. That's most people who have Jason Verrett going here. When Darqueze Dennard is still on the board at this point, I think the Eagles will have no choice but to take him. I'm sorry, the Bengals will have no choice but to take him at this spot. He's definitely a great run support guy. He is a good press corner, but he definitely needs some work. He's not as shut down of a corner as some may think. He tends to let guys get behind him on deep routes, and he needs to work on that in the next level, which means he needs to jam guys at the line of scrimmage a lot harder if he's going to play that bump press kind of style. He has had some injury issues, which is going to be a problem, which could raise red flags and could be a problem when teams come to try to draft him. That's why I see Darqueze Dennard falling this far in the draft, not based on talent, based on the injury problems and the inconsistency on deep routes. But needless to say, Darqueze Dennard is a phenomenal talent, and I see the Bengals getting a steal at this point. At the 25 spot, I have the San Diego Chargers selecting Jason Verrett, cornerback, Texas Christian University. At this point, if Darqueze Dennard is available at the 24th spot, I see the Bengals and Chargers flipping. Because Dennard's better fit for the outside, Verrett is probably better fit for the inside. Needless to say, Verrett can also play outside. And I like Verrett better than Dennard, but for the Chargers, I like Verrett better than Dennard. So this works out in this case. So Verrett, definitely a little bit of a feisty guy. I like him a lot. He can hit. He's kind of small, but he's undersized for the corner position, but he makes up with it with his athleticism, his ball skills, and his coverage skills. He definitely needs a little work. He's rough around the edges, but he can definitely be a top-tier pro at the next level. I think he could be one of those guys that turns into a shutdown corner at the next level, and also he has tremendous athleticism. He makes up for his size with his athleticism, and I like athleticism and guys with wow factor in the first round. So I have the Chargers taking Jason Verrett, cornerback, Texas Christian University here. At the 26th pick, I have the Cleveland Browns selecting Trey Mason, running back, Auburn. Trey Mason will be the first running back off the board if I was a general manager in the NFL, because I like Trey Mason a lot. He showed us a lot at Auburn. He pretty much carried this team as far as they went. We all know that the quarterback play was good, but it was nowhere near something like Florida State, my favorite team. It was nowhere near a great quarterback play, but they still made it to national championship game. Yes, there was 2 miracles on that way there, but Trey Mason was a big reason why. And I watched him in a national championship game, and I was cringing because he kept toasting my Florida State Seminoles, and it was annoying me. And I was like, this guy's cheating. He's definitely cheating. He's a very good runner. He runs in between the tackles. He can run outside the tackles. He can break tackles. He's strong, and he doesn't give up. He plays with a lot of intensity, and he's a great guy. Trey Mason, 26, first running back off the board. My only running back in the first round, and it's going to be Trey Mason, running back out of Auburn. Okay, with the 27th pick, I have the New Orleans Saints selecting LaMarcus Joyner, cornerback, Florida State Seminoles. I have LaMarcus Joyner going to the Saints because of his ability to play inside. He is a great tackler and a great blitzer, and Rob Ryan's going to be able to use him in a lot of different ways a lot more ways than other cornerbacks in this draft. He fits this team perfectly, and the fact that he's going to fall to 27th spot is going to help this team out a lot. They get exactly what they need, another cornerback and another guy they can use in the blitz packages. He definitely can hit the quarterback from the corner position. He's all over the field. He's a bit of a small guy, but he definitely can make plays. He's a playmaker. LaMarcus Joyner is a playmaker and will be a difference maker at the next level. I'm excited to see if he does go here. If he does in fact go here, I'm excited to see what Rob Ryan will do with him, because again, great blitzer from the cornerback position. So that's As a whole, LaMarcus Joyner will go 27th overall to New Orleans Saints. Okay, with the 28th pick in the draft, I have my Carolina Panthers selecting Jarvis Landry, wide receiver, Louisiana State University. Jarvis Landry has the best hands in college football. Maybe the best hands of all time, exception of Calvin Johnson and Larry Fitzgerald. Strongest hands. Not Calvin Johnson, Jerry Rice and Larry Fitzgerald. Besides those two wide receivers, Jarvis Landry has the strongest hands of all time. I showed you in the video, I know it took a while, but I wanted to show you that he consistently makes those circus catches. That's not something he does once a season. He consistently makes great catches. He's an unbelievable catcher of the football. Where he lacks is in speed. He doesn't have as much speed as some of the other guys in this draft class, but I do believe he's definitely the best pass catcher for sure. He is an excellent run blocker. He is going to tremendously upgrade the void fill left by Brandon LaFell in Carolina, because they're losing him to free agency. The element that Brandon LaFell added to the Carolina's Panthers offense was he's an excellent run blocker. Jarvis Landry is an excellent run blocker as well as being a ridiculous hands catcher. Jarvis Landry is going to give Cam Newton another weapon, and when Steve Smith eventually leaves, God forbid he leaves, he's going to be able to step into that number one role easily. Jarvis Landry, 28 to the Carolina Panthers. Alright, moving on to the 29th pick, I have the New England Patriots selecting Louis Nix III, defensive tackle / defensive end out of Notre Dame. Louis Nix III is one of those versatile defensive tackle, defensive ends that can play in the 3-4 scheme as a defensive end or defensive tackle. He can rush the passer very well, and he also can play the run very well. New England had issues on the defensive line, just not only because of injuries, just because of the lack of depth. They need to add depth on the defensive line, as well as they can do with another wide receiver, but right now, defensive line is going to help him out a lot. With that being said, even Vince Wilfork is getting old. Probably could be done. So Louis Nix III is going to come in there and add depth and add a future starter in that New England Patriots defense. Okay, with the 30th pick, I have the San Francisco 49ers selecting Aaron Donald, defensive tackle / defensive end out of Pitt. Aaron Donald, again, one of these versatile 3-4 defensive ends, 4-3 defensive tackles. Now, what I like about Aaron Donald is I think he's best fit for a 4-3 defensive end. I'm sorry, 3-4 defensive end. And I think the 49ers are going to add a ton of depth here with Aaron Donald. Justin Smith cannot play forever. Aaron Donald could definitely fill that role very well. And he's very athletic and he's a great pass rusher. He does need to work on his run stopping abilities, but he is undersized, for a defensive tackle, which makes me more to believe that he will become a defensive end at the next level. I really think that he's excelled at Pittsburgh, and I don't see why that success will not translate to the next level, especially in the San Francisco 49ers defense. They got great coaching there, so I believe that Aaron Donald to the 49ers will be a good pick. This could also be a position where they could trade. The 49ers could trade this pick, because I don't think Aaron Donald, as I look at my draft here, I don't think Aaron Donald is going anywhere if they trade with the Jacksonville Jaguars here, so the Jaguars can draft their quarterback in the first round and get the extra year on the contract. But for now, 49ers Aaron Donald, defensive tackle, out of Pitt. With the 31st pick in the draft, I have the Denver Broncos selecting Bradley Roby, cornerback, Ohio State. Bradley Roby, I don't know how I overlooked him in my previous mock drafts, because he just has a ton of talent. He's a great blitzer, he can play inside, and he also can play in coverage. He reminds me a lot of LaMarcus Joyner in this draft class, except I think Roby hits harder. But he's definitely has that versatility. He's nowhere near as polished as Joyner is, but he still has the ability to play inside and outside, which is something you like to look for in a corner. The Broncos need defensive backs all over the place, so they can only start with Bradley Roby in the first round. Can't really get much better than that. He's a good cover guy. He hits well. Plays good in run support. He's very solid, but he definitely needs a lot of work. Not a lot, but he definitely needs some work to become one of those elite corners in the next round. No, by no means is he not a first-round talent. He is definitely a first-round talent. So Bradley Roby, 31 to Denver Broncos. Okay, finally rounding off my first round, I have the Seattle Seahawks selecting Austin Seferian-Jenkins, tight end out of Washington. Austin Seferian-Jenkins, also known as ASJ, I almost messed that up, also known as ASJ, is one of these tight ends that is not overly athletic, but he's very consistent, and he's more of a conventional tight end. Extremely good run blocker. He can catch a football over the middle, no problem. Reminds me a lot of Jason Witten, a very consistent catcher of the football, and he's going to move the chains for you. He's going to give you what you look for in a tight end, a very consistent pass catcher and a good run blocker. He's not going to give you that absolute wow factor like an Eric Ebron, but he's going to give you a solid tight end option and a dump-off guy. He definitely could rise up draft boards for teams that looking for another option, a tight end position, just for some safety for maybe a younger quarterback. And Russell Wilson is a young quarterback, and this is going to help him have a safety valve to throw to. So Austin Seferian-Jenkins, rounding off my first round of my mock draft to the Seattle Seahawks. Okay, so I decided for my second and almost entire third round. I really don't have enough time right now to do all the videos for them. If you really want me to, I will, but you have to leave it down below in the comments section, and you must subscribe and like and favorite the video. If you do that, and I get some comments on it saying continue the videos throughout, then I will do as many as I possibly can. For the ones previously where you didn't see guys with videos is because I couldn't find one. These are not videos, they're GIFs. I just edited them, turned them into videos so I can use them. If you want to know how to do that, just comment down below and I'll explain. I use Windows Live Movie Maker, and I will explain to you how to do it if you just leave a comment down below or just message me on YouTube. Alright. Okay, so I didn't scroll anything. I have no idea what I was doing there. So I'm just gonna do my second and most of my third round the way I normally do them, just talking. Again, the reason I do so many rounds is because I want people to be exposed to the depth in this draft class. There's a lot of names in this second round, especially towards the beginning, that you're going to hear in the first round. There's definitely guys that are quality first round talents that are going in the second round. Just based on need. I'm not saying that these guys being left out here, like there's a lot of quality wide receivers that's going to be in the top of the round. They're very exciting players, and it's really exciting because the depth of wide receiver in this draft is going to make teams on the top tier, the top half of the board, going to be able to hold up. This is one of those draft class where you're going to see a dramatic change. You can see a team like Cleveland, who got the 4th overall pick this year, turning around next year and be a talented team. The Kansas City Chiefs had a fluke year last year. They didn't have a quarterback, but they did have a lot of talent surrounding them. A team like Cleveland doesn't necessarily have that much talent on the offensive side of the ball, but this is the kind of draft class with the depth in this at different positions, at skill positions especially, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. These positions, defensive end, outside linebacker on defense, corners. This is just a very deep draft in multiple positions, offensive tackles. So you're going to see teams improving greatly in the coming seasons. Maybe even as soon as next year with these guys. So there's going to be a lot of names on this that you're going to hear that you're going to hear before in the first round. But I'm putting in the second round only based on needs. Some of my favorite guys I have to put in the second round. But yeah, I'm just going to talk for the rest of this video. First round, I'm going to do that. I might do a video for a couple of the guys that you really like that are really first round talents in my mind, that should be first round guys, but they're not because of the way that this draft is and how talented everyone is. But enough talking from me. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you're still watching up to this point, I do appreciate it. I know a lot of people just watch the first round, and I know a lot of people just watch the second and third rounds because they like to see how deep the draft this is, and how I tell you about guys that you've never heard of before, and you're like, who the heck is that? And I'm going to explain to you who it is, and I'm going to make prospect videos, guys that I don't think everybody knows, and I'm going to make them prospect videos on them. I probably won't make a prospect video on a guy like Teddy Bridgewater or Jadeveon Clowney, people that everybody know, everyone's knowing the names. I'm going to probably do guys like, I'm just looking, Deon Buchanan or Ryan Shazer, like everyone knows, well, not everyone does, or like a Jordan Matthews, Odell Beckham Jr., those kind of guys. I'll do prospect videos on. Alright, there's one other guy, but I don't want you to know that I put him here until I say it. Alright, starting off in the second round, because I do have a lot of picks to go. This is a draft up to 83. The only reason it's up to 83 and not the full third round is because I actually ran out of prospects. I need the combine. I need the combine to come. As I don't know, I have no more prospects to look at. I need a life. I really need a life. But for now, I want to be an NFL scout, so this is okay. This is preparing me, and I'm good to shut up and just do the rest of this. Okay. With the 33rd pick, the first pick in the second round, I have the Houston Texans selecting Deon Buchanan, safety out of Washington State. Strong safety out of Washington State. I want to make that clear that I think he's going to be a strong safety at the next level. Hard hitter. Definitely a great run support safety. He's like another linebacker at the second level. He comes up and makes big hits all the time. He's impressed throughout the Senior Bowl and whatnot. He's showing that he actually can play coverage. Coming into the Senior Bowl week, people didn't know if he could play coverage. He was a bit iffy there. He probably had about a third or fourth round grade coming into the Senior Bowl. Now he has a second to first round grade. Probably the third best safety, the best strong safety in this draft class. You saw the Jacksonville Jaguars take a strong safety in the top of the second round, the first pick in the second round, Jonathan Cyprien last year, and look how that turned out. So Deon Buchanan is the first player off the board in the second round, and he's going to the Houston Texans. He's safety out of Washington State. Hold on a minute. Okay, I honestly don't know why I went hold on a minute. Someone texted me, and I meant to say to them, like, hold on a minute, but I said it out loud. For some unknown reason, I'm weird. Okay. Anyway, 34. I have the Washington Redskins selecting Ryan Shazier, linebacker out of Ohio State. And I know he's an outside linebacker, but I'm gonna tell you he's an inside linebacker because I want you to understand. A lot of people watching the draft say, when I say outside linebacker, they think of Alden Smith, like a guy who's gonna rush the passer. That's a 3-4 outside linebacker. Ryan Shazier is a 4-3 outside linebacker, which means in a 3-4 he would be playing them in the middle. So I'm gonna say Ryan Shazier as an inside linebacker, just so you understand that he's in that 4-3 front, and he's going to be a tackler and a run stopper rather than a pass rusher. He does definitely have the athleticism to pass rush. He is one of my favorite guys in this draft. I like a lot of prospects in this draft, but Ryan Shazier definitely steps out to me, or shines out to me a little bit, because I see him. I see a guy with a ton of talent, all these accolades, and I'm like, I want to put him in the first round, but I don't know where to put him. There's no need for him in the first round. But in the second round, Washington Redskins, they're saying, thank God he's still available, because they need a linebacker right there. Alright, 35th pick. Wow, that was really bad. The 35th pick, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars selecting Jimmy Garoppolo, quarterback, Eastern Illinois. All I heard, well, this is one of these guys that I want to show you a video on, because you're going to know what I'm talking about. All I heard about Garoppolo throughout the senior week, well, he flew up draft boards throughout the Senior Bowl week, and he performed great in the East-West Shrine game. And he performed very well in the Senior Bowl. Just great week for Jimmy Garoppolo. But all I heard from scouts talking there was Jimmy Garoppolo, his only flaw was he doesn't have that good of an arm. And I'm like, you know what? Usually for me, when I hear, I'm the type of guy that likes a strong arm quarterback. I feel like that if he has this really strong arm, that talent can be, molded into somebody that's really good. They have the potential. And I see guys who are a little bit shaky with accuracy. If they don't have that big time NFL arm, I feel like, I don't usually like it. But I watched tape on Jimmy Garoppolo, and you people who are saying Garoppolo does not have a good arm are insane, because Garoppolo has a good arm. He's definitely not a Johnny Manziel arm or Teddy Bridgewater arm, because those guys could sling it down the field. I think Manziel can literally throw it from one end zone to the other if he tried. But Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to do that, but he definitely can stretch the field vertically with his arm. He's an incredibly accurate passer. He's just very poised. He throws the ball with a lot of poise. I really, really like Garoppolo. He makes great decisions. He's smart. If he was in a better conference, he would be a first-round quarterback, no doubt about it. No questions asked. He would be a first-round draft pick if he was in a better conference. But because he's a Division II player, people see that and say, "Oh, he's out of Eastern Illinois. Your tape is on not on a good team." I don't remember what it was. It was someone Division II team, but it's not from like Auburn Tigers or the Alabama Crimson Tide or like LSU or something like that. I'm just naming things, or Ohio State or Florida State or something like that. Like, he's not playing in a Division I conference, so people are gonna see that and be like, "Oh, he's playing against easy guys. Therefore, he can't be that good just because he's playing against easy guys. Everyone could do that." Garoppolo has the talent to become a star at the NFL level. I think the Jaguars in the second round are going to get an absolute steal with Garoppolo, because there's just I don't think that a team is going to take him in the first round. I'm going to scroll up my board. Alright, let me look. Teams that could take a quarterback. The Houston Texans, I have them taking Manziel. The Jacksonville Jaguars, I have them taking Clowney in the first round. They need a pass rusher. They're not passing on Clowney. The Browns, I have them taking Teddy Bridgewater. The Raiders, I have them taking Blake Bortles. None of those guys, I think Garoppolo can, be better than, like, they can pick Garoppolo over Blake Bortles. Maybe, but Garoppolo over Teddy Bridgewater. Like, it's just not going to happen. Vikings taking Derek Carr. The Vikings like the Mike Zimmer. he likes quarterbacks with big arms, so they're not going to take Garoppolo. Like really big arms, like strong arm or quarterbacks fit Mike Zimmer's scheme, so they're not going to take Garoppolo. Let me think. Other guy, Tennessee Titans. If Garoppolo goes in the first round, it'd be Tennessee, but that's in the top 10. You still need the Clinton Dix. Are they going to take Garoppolo over Clinton Dix, a guy who's played in the SEC? I don't think so. I'm looking down the line here. Teams that need a quarterback, and the Jets just picked a quarterback, and Eric Ebron's one of my favorite players in this draft, if not my favorite player in this draft. They're not taking a Garoppolo over him because what if something happens there? Cardinals could take Garoppolo, but my only issue is the Cardinals are one of those teams that they're almost there. They're almost to the Super Bowl ready team. Carson Palmer is going to give them enough with the receivers that they have. Carson Palmer is going to give them enough to make it there if they add that tackle and they add that another pass rusher. So I don't think they can take the risk on Garoppolo here. So I don't think they'll do it. And the rest of those teams are good teams who probably have their franchise quarterback by now. They do, yes. All these teams definitely have franchise quarterbacks by now. So Garoppolo to the Jaguars, an absolute steal. I will rave about him all year if he gets picked to the Jaguars. I hope he does well. Makes me look good because if not, he's gonna make me look like an idiot. But Jimmy Garoppolo to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I am excited for Garoppolo. I'm gonna be watching a ton of tape on him. You will see a prospect video about Jimmy Garoppolo sometime soon, and it'll probably be like 30 minutes long because I love Jimmy Garoppolo at this point. Originally, up until like 3 days ago, I had Jeff Matthews out of Cornell going here. I'm like, everyone's talking about Garoppolo, and everyone's like, he doesn't have this good arm. Let me watch tape and see for myself. And I'm like, Garoppolo's stretching the field left and right. What are you guys doing? He maybe won't have the velocity on the deep passes, but he can get the ball there. That's all that really matters to me. He's getting the ball there with accuracy, and I love Garoppolo. We have to move on because I can't spend 10 minutes on a single pick, or this will never end. Because 83 picks, we're on 35. I just spent 6 minutes talking about Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm gonna stop this and start recording this part again, so I don't lose this nonsense. All right. So after I just spent 6 minutes talking about Jimmy Garoppolo, we're going to move on to the next pick. Cleveland Browns. Oh, I'm just raving because I just love this. Browns are just in such a good spot. Usually you're like, oh, I don't have a franchise quarterback. I don't have a running back. I only have one wide receiver. Going into the draft, you're like, oh, God, we need to stretch to try to get these guys. Browns are sitting in a great spot. They really are. Franchise quarterback. They're going to have a top 5 pick. So, the Rams are not taking a quarterback. The Jaguars, someone in the top 5 is going to take Clowney. So, that's one of them. And then there's another one out there. So, they're going to get the franchise quarterback in the first round. So, unless they go 1, 2, 3. But I don't think they'll go 1, 2, 3. So, anyway, there's 4 quarterbacks at the 4th pick. They'll get their franchise quarterback in the first round. And then they'll get Trey Mason. That's a franchise running back, in my opinion. And now they're going to get Jordan Matthews, wide receiver out of Vanderbilt. Ton of speed. I love him. He's big, and he's fast. I really like... he's not the fastest guy in this draft class, but he still is very fast. He has great hands. He's one of these guys is solid. His route running skills is very, very good, actually. He catches this ball very well. Catches the ball away from his body. I'm showing you. When he catches a deep route... What I mean by when guys catch the ball away from their body on a deep route, when the ball's over his shoulder, he catches the ball out here. Instead of catching the ball here on a deep route and letting the ball hit him here, because the ball's going to bounce out and corners are going to slap it. I know I'm a defensive back. Slap the ball right out. It's not hard to do. So when I talk about guys who catch the ball with the away from their body because they extend and catch the ball, or catch it like this and then pull in instead of letting it hit their body and trapping it. Alright, that's what I mean. Jordan Matthews definitely is a guy who catches the ball away from his body. If you want to see a guy that catches the ball away from his body consistently and you want to learn how to catch the ball away from your body, go look up Jarvis Landry, because, that's catching the ball away from your body. He's an unbelievable catcher of the passer. Alright, speaking of Jarvis Landry, the Oakland Raiders at the 36th spot are going to take his opposite guy, Odell Beckham Jr., wide receiver, LSU. Odell Beckham Jr. has more speed than Jarvis Landry, so it was the contrast, like I was talking about before. I love contrasting on teams, and LSU definitely had the contrast here. I'm sorry. I don't do drugs. My nose is just running. I'm sorry. Yes. So anyway, Odell Beckham Jr. He's the opposite of Jarvis Landry. He catches the ball very well, but he definitely has more speed than Jarvis Landry does. He runs great routes, but he's a little bit banged up this season. Again, another one of these guys that could totally go in the first round. I could see him going in the first round. If he gets picked in the first round, no way I'm complaining and saying that's a stupid pick. There's just no way. I'm not going to say that's a dumb pick if Odell Beckham Jr. goes in the first round. You know, 20th pick and beyond, I say that. If he goes 20 overall and beyond, then I'm not going to say it's a bad pick. I mean, if he goes 19, I'm not going to say it's a bad pick. But if he goes in, like, the top 15, then I might be like, for right now. That could be... But he's still a guy who can go in the first round, no problem. I wouldn't have a problem with him going in the first round. He's not one of these guys that's going to be in the second round because of the depth in this class. He's forced to go there, and the Raiders are another one of these teams that is going to get their franchise quarterback and then their franchise running back. And then a good wide receiver to go with them. Right there in the second round, this is a great draft class. Oh my god, I can't talk. Class for bad teams. And even for good teams to get better. This is one of those great draft classes. It's fun. It's fun to evaluate this draft class. Moving on. The Atlanta Falcons. Talk about getting a steal. Cyrus Kouandjio, offensive tackle out of Alabama. Preseason, he's like top 5 pick. Like, he's the best tackle in the country. And then he has flaws in his technique, and he doesn't is 100% in the pass blocking. His run blocking is really good. He might be better suited for a right tackle. They don't know. It doesn't matter for Atlanta. They need a tackle. They don't have anybody in the offensive tackle position. They got nobody there. A body's going to help him. So Cyrus Kouandjio, if he ends up being a right tackle, they picked him at 37th overall. Alright, we got a great right tackle. Oh, well, cool. That's good. You like right tackles. Take a right tackle. He'll help you out a little bit. That's no problem. If you take him in the first round, he's like, he can't play left tackle, then it's a bit of an issue. But at the 37th spot, this is a safe... He's a risk player, but at the 37th spot, he's one of those guys you can afford to take the risk on. He does have a ton of athleticism, and if he can fix up his technique and get taught very well, I hope he does, because then he could be a franchise left tackle, and that's a steal at the 37th spot for the Atlanta Falcons. Do you see what happens when I don't have to edit? And I guess I had to stop every 2 seconds. This video, normally when I go to a mock draft, the time you see is how long it takes me to make the video. That's how long it takes me. For this one, it took me like 3 days just to make the top, like, 32. Like, it took me 2 days just to make the first 18. Yeah. But now I explain what my picks are better. Anyway, okay. What's wrong with me? Alright, so at the 38th spot, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers selecting Paul Richardson, wide receiver out of Colorado. He's got great speed, and he's got great hands. Again, two guys I compare each other to is Paul Richardson and I like Jordan Matthews. They're kind of similar, but different at the same time. Paul Richardson has a ton of speed, but he kind of tends to run his routes a little sloppy, and he doesn't have the vision after the catch that you would like to see. He can definitely run the ball after the catch, but he doesn't have as much vision as you would like to see from a wide receiver. He can catch the ball, stretch it downfield. Again, another one of these guys could complement big receiver in Vincent Jackson. Then you take hopefully you'll hear that on the mic because that was really weird. And then you get Paul Richardson on the other side of Vincent Jackson, but speedster, big guy. You know I like that already. There you go. Paul Richardson, 38 to the Buccaneers. 39, Vikings. What the hell is wrong with me? Brandon Cooks, wide receiver, Oregon State. Small, but fast. Reminds me a lot of Steve Smith, but he's nowhere near as polished. He's got a lot of speed, and I originally was flip-flopping between him and Jarvis Landry for the Carolina Panthers, and Jarvis Landry I watched tape on him, and he went up the roof. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? He's unbelievable. But he's a guy who can play in the slot. So we got Cordell Patterson, a raw guy on the outside. And then you got Greg Jennings, the veteran, and then you put Brandon Cooks in the middle. And Derek Carr is going to be able to have someone to throw the ball to, and it's an important thing. Another one of these guys that could go in the first round. Very productive at the collegiate level. Let's see if that translates to the next level. I think he's going to be better fit for the slot position, but he can still play outside. Don't let his size fool you. He is a good player. Okay, at the 40th spot, I have the Buffalo Bills selecting Morgan Moses, offensive tackle out of Virginia. This is a perfect spot for Morgan Moses to go, or a perfect situation for Morgan Moses to go to. It could get actually perfect, more perfect. A veteran left tackle, a guy who's going to be on his way out soon. But he's going to be able to go into Buffalo and play right tackle and be very comfortable there. He's going to be a very good right tackle. He definitely has the ability to potential. This looks weird. I'm sorry. He definitely has the ability and potential to become a franchise left tackle, but if he gets picked by a team like Buffalo, he may not get the opportunity to. But that's okay. You're going to have an excellent pass blocking and run blocking right tackle in Morgan Moses, and they need a right tackle. They need another right tackle. You can't take a right tackle in the first round. It just doesn't really work. In this draft, right tackle in the first round would not be a smart idea, but at 40, Morgan Moses is definitely worth the pick. Okay, 41, the Lions. Devontae Adams, wide receiver out of Fresno State. Another one who's got a good route running ability and can catch the ball very well. Okay. He sometimes does catch the ball with his body, and his route running, even though it is good, can get sloppy at times. He doesn't necessarily give me the tremendous wow factor that I'm looking for, but he is much, much, much better than what they have opposite Calvin Johnson now. So he's going to give you a wide receiver opposite Calvin Johnson, which is something they have not had in Detroit, and it's something that's very important to have. So yeah, Devontae Adams, wide receiver out of Fresno State, 41 to the Lions. I did way too many picks. Okay. 42. I'm halfway there. I'm halfway there. I'm an hour and a half into this, or hour and 20 minutes into this video, time-wise, and I'm halfway there. Okay. I know no one's gonna watch this, but I'm doing it anyway. Okay. 42, Tennessee Titans selecting D. Ford, defensive end / outside linebacker out of Auburn. Another great pick. Just steal here. So athletic. I'm sorry. I'm trying to cut down on how long I'm talking about the guys, but this is one of these guys that I have to talk about. He is impressed so much at Senior Bowl. I tried my absolute best to get him in the first round and just couldn't find a spot for him. I couldn't. I didn't see him being better than Coney Ely, but he could be. He is incredibly productive. He has an unbelievable work ethic. He's incredibly athletic. He's one of these guys that every single day, if someone asks me, is he a first-round talent? Yes, he's a first-round talent. But why do you have him in the second round? Because this needs and scheme fit is just, it's not there. There's the Atlanta Falcons, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I can just look. This is the teams that would possibly take him. Jacksonville Jaguars, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Atlanta Falcons, Arizona Cardinals, and then that's it. So, out of those teams, there's better guys there, and there are high spots. Clowney is definitely going to the Jaguars. So, anyway. D4 defensive end / outside linebacker out of Auburn goes to the Titans at 42 with a steal and a guy with a lot of athleticism and a ton of upside. Okay, moving on to the 43 spot. I have the New York Giants selecting Cyril Richardson, left guard out of Baylor. He's a big guy, but I also see him priority is pass block. Oh my god. He's a great pass blocker for his size. He also can play the run very well. This draft class is going to allow this Giants offensive line to be a lot better than it was last year. Having what I just said about his pass blocking being his main priority, I'm going to go ahead right now because I said Justin Pugh should move inside with the addition of Jake Matthews in the first round. I said Justin Pugh should move into guard, and then Bobby Massey should move to the right. Not Bobby Massey. What the hell's his name? Will Beatty. No. Yeah. I'm almost positive I said Bobby Massey. Bobby Massey isn't on the Giants. I think it's Will Beatty. If I'm wrong, just let it happen. Whoever the left tackle is, Will Beatty, Bobby Massey. Oh, I definitely did that. Okay, but anyway, that guy is going to move to the right side. Justin Pugh is going to move to the left guard. I just wrote down that Sarah Richardson is a left guard, so why the hell would I have... No, I'm going to keep him there for now. Oh my god. Sorry. Yeah, Sarah Richardson of Baylor to the Giants, whatever. Okay, moving on. Next pick, Rams, Gabe Jackson, offensive guard, Mississippi State, great run blocker. Ramsey, guard, moving, yes. Gabe Jackson, like him, good guy, yes. Why am I saying yes? It's my picks, I can change it if I want to. 43, Giants, Gabe Jackson. 44, Rams, Sarah Richardson. There you go. That's my final decision on that one. Okay, because Sarah Richardson, better pass blocker, Gabe Johnson, better run blocker. So, plain and simple, there you go. Giants have a good offensive line now. That's my draft. Yeah. Okay. 45, Bears, Jamia Thomas, safety at Georgia Tech. They need another safety. Plain and simple. I'm going to start reading off the picks unless there's a guy that I just like a lot. I was really loud there because I'm going to be honest with you, this video is taking me way too long. So I'm just going to start reading off picks. If I'm reading off picks and you want to know more about a certain guy that I told your team to be, comment down below and I will talk about him in a video, or I'll just message you about him. I'll do both if you want me. If you want me to talk about a specific pick that I'm going to read off, because I'm going to start reading off and I'm going to pick and choose. I may talk about some guys. I'm going to talk about them briefly. I'm not going to just say their name, but it's not going to be what I normally do. If you want to know more about those guys, leave a comment down below and I will explain to you more about them. And yeah, maybe I'll do a video about it. That'll be good to you, because I kind of want to get this video uploaded. Alright, so Bears, 45 Bears, Jamia Thomas, safety at Georgia Tech. Bears need another safety. Jamia Thomas is a good guy, good safety. Impressed me a lot at the Senior Bowl. Goes there. Alright, 46 Steelers, Antonio Richardson, offensive tackle out of Tennessee. Double up on tackles. Antonio Richardson's a big guy. See him starting off as a right tackle in the NFL. Gonna be really good there. Alright, 47, Ravens, Xavier Su'a-Filo, offensive guard, UCLA, 24 years old, but he definitely has a ton of upside, and, yeah, they need another guard, obviously Marshall Yanda, so, Xavier Su'a-Filo, offensive guard, UCLA, 48, Cowboys, Dion Bailey, safety out of USC, need another safety there, hold on, yeah, I'm just gonna read them. But if you have questions, again, leave your comments down below and ask me about them. 48, Jets, Josh Huff, wide receiver, Oregon. 50, Dolphins, David Yankee, offensive guard, Stanford. 51, Cardinals, James Hurst, offensive tackle out of North Carolina. Quick note on him. Preseason, definitely could have been a top tackle. Had some injury issues throughout the season. This could be a steal here. Watch out for this pick. This could be their franchise left tackle. That's one of the reasons why they had them taking Coney Ely instead of Cyrus Kouandjio in the first round. 52, Packers, Kyle Van Noy, linebacker, BYU. 53, Eagles, Keith McGill, cornerback, Utah. 54, Chiefs, Ahmad Dixon, safety, Baylor. 55, Bengals, Dominique Easley, defensive tackle out of Florida. An athletic defensive tackle. Preseason was one of these top guys. It could have been a great, definitely a first-round pick. Has the talent. He suffered an ACL injury. That's why he's so far down in this draft. Didn't play this entire season, but he has a ton of talent. This could be a guy to watch out for at the next level. Another one of these guys that could play defensive end at 3-4 if need be. 56, Chargers, Marquestin Huff, cornerback slash safety out of Wyoming. Colts, Ryan Grant, wide receiver out of Tulane. Saints, Karan Reed, defensive end slash defensive tackle out of Princeton. I really like him a lot. Karan Reed. He's a very versatile player. Can move along that line. He's a less polished version. In terms of this draft class, he's a less polished version and a bit bigger version of Aaron Donald. He's not as polished though. Panthers, Jake Mewhort. 59. Panthers, Jake Mewhort, offensive tackle, Ohio State. 60. Patriots, Robert Herron, wide receiver, Wyoming. 61. 49ers, Jalen Saunders, wide receiver, Oklahoma. 62. Broncos, Pierre Desir, cornerback, Lindenwood. 63. Seattle Seahawks, Kevin Norwood, wide receiver, Alabama. 64. Houston Texans, Jimmy Ward, safety, Northern Illinois. 65. Redskins, Christian Jones, linebacker, Florida State. 66. Jaguars, Stanley Jean-Baptiste, cornerback out of Nebraska. Another one of these guys to look out for. He's got height, weight, speed, but he's very raw. I think a third-round pick for him is very good. I can also see I should have thought this one through. I could possibly see them going running back here, and they might go running back in the 4th round because I think there's going to be quality guys available. But for now, we're going to have Stanley Jean-Baptiste, a guy that can look out for as one of those next like Richard Sherman kind of guys. That's standard, yeah, that big, that good. 67. Browns, Aaron Colvin, cornerback, Oklahoma. He tore his ACL in senior week. He was the top 50 prospect for sure. He is better than Bradley. He had a better season than Bradley Roby did. He's a very good cornerback. He is definitely a first-round talent, but that ACL injury is going to have to fall him back to the 3rd round, in my opinion. 68. Raiders, Lake Seastrunk, running back, Baylor. Very productive season for Lake Seastrunk. Another one of these guys could be a franchise running back. Get him in the 3rd round. This is when you start seeing running backs coming off the board. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round running backs. 2nd and 1st round running backs. I didn't have a single running back on the 2nd round. 1st round I had one because Trey Mason I think is that good. Okay, 69. Falcons, Crockett Gilmore, tight ends, Colorado State. 70. Buccaneers, Sontrell Henderson, offensive tackle, Miami. 71. Vikings, Mike Davis, wide receiver, Texas. 72. Bills. Why? I don't think things through sometimes, and I skip over guys. I had Karan Reed, defensive lineman to Saints, and I put Karan Reed to the Bills. I'm going to quickly think for a minute. I'm going to have the Bills take... I'm sorry. The Bills, they're going to take... This is bad. DeAndre Coleman, defensive lineman out of California. Oh, Lord. I have to go way back down here. Did I put him in here? Please tell me I didn't put him in here. Alright, yeah, so Bills, DeAndre Coleman, defensive lineman out of California. Titans, Kane Coulter, wide receiver, Northwestern. 74. New York Giants, Carlos Hyde, running back, Ohio State. 75. Rams, the first center off the board, Travis Swanson, center, Arkansas. 76. Bears, Christian Kirksey, linebacker, Iowa. 77. Steelers, Scott Crichton, defensive end, Oregon State. 78. Ravens, Michael Sam, defensive end / outside linebacker out of Missouri. Now, you all know who Michael Sam is now, but what you don't know is he's one of the best defenders in the SEC. The only reason his season did not continue his unbelievable production was because they started to double team him, and at the next level, Michael Sam will not be double teamed. At the next level, he will not be double teamed. There's just no way they're going to double team Michael Sam at the next level, especially in the Baltimore Ravens. This is going to be a good learning experience for him. This is a great locker room for him to go in. Most of these guys have been with Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis is a great locker room presence, and this team is now have this emotion about them is going to be very accepting. They're very good with pressure. You saw them win the Super Bowl all amongst the Ray Lewis retiring thing, and this is a team that can handle the media attention that's going to go along with picking Michael Sam. So 78 Ravens taking Michael Sam, defensive end / outside linebacker out of Missouri, making NFL history. With the first openly gay player in the NFL, Michael Sam will be taken 78th to the Ravens. Alright, 79 Cowboys, CJ Fedorowicz, tight end out of Iowa. They need a guy to back up, to come into Jason Witten's place. CJ Fedorowicz can do that. 80th pick, I have the Jets taking DeAnthony Thomas, a.k.a. the Black Mamba, running back out of Oregon. Don't let his size fool you. That's all I'm going to say about him for now. 81, I have the Miami Dolphins selecting Eric Fales, quarterback out of San Jose State. With the 82nd pick, I have the Arizona Cardinals selecting Jeff Matthews, cornerback out of Cornell. And my last pick that I'm doing, I am having the Green Bay Packers select Marcus Smith, outside linebacker out of Louisville. Thank you for watching this whole draft. I'm going to do more as we go on. Keep going. More picks. Leave your comments down below. Tell me what you think. Like, rate, subscribe, all that nonsense. Just tell me if you want me to explain more about a certain guy, or you question some of my picks. Just let me know. I could tell, sometimes I miss over guys, so if I miss some guys, let me know about them. If you have some prospects that maybe I haven't heard about, let me know below. Tell me to check out certain guys, or tell me the rumors about certain draft picks. I like to hear what you guys have to say. Anyway, if you watch this whole thing through, you deserve a hug. Thank you, and I will be back next week or later in this week with a video probably on Jimmy Garoppolo. Alright, I'll see you guys. Thank you for watching.